Sick of looking at Netflix and you don't know what to watch.
So many movies out there, you don't know which ones are good, which ones were bad.
You curious about what's out there?
I'm Joey Powers.
I'm Don Trettler.
This is The Best Pictures.
The ones you don't want to miss.
Hit it.
Say hello to my little friend.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Winners go home and prom queen.
English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
I don't deserve this. Deserves got nothing to do with it. No sequel for you.
Hi, and welcome to another edition of The Best Pictures. I'm one of your hosts, Joey Powers.
Hi, and I'm Don Trettler. Welcome to the show.
So what does he have on there? How did the movie age? That's a good way of putting it. So basically what we're going to do is talk about movies that we saw at a young age and then rewatch them as we get older and talk about the difference between whether we liked it more back then and less now, or whether we liked it less back then and more now.
Right, I think I have one of... Well, you had one of each, and then I had to rethink of it. I had to rethink of it, and so now I have kind of one of each. So, I don't know. We were talking about this before the show. I don't know if you want to start off, or you want me to throw it
It doesn't matter. Go for it.
Well, we were already talking about this, unfortunately. So we're talking about... for a while, I went on a streak, and I watched a lot of comedies.
Right.
And I tried to find what were recommended as the funniest movies of all time. So I was trying to go through a lot of them, and what I found was the ones I'd already seen, they were not that funny. They were not as funny as I remembered them. And the big example was Blazing Saddles. Mel Brooks makes a lot of really funny movies. Now, the proviso of this is, because we were talking about being young, it was an R-rated movie when it came out. And my brother who's a couple years younger than me, I think I must have been about 12. And we snuck into Blazing Saddles. And we thought it was hysterical, because here was this forbidden thing. We got to see this forbidden R-rated movie. And of course they had, they were cursing, they had fart jokes, right? Boobs. You know, we thought it was like the funniest movie we'd ever seen. I bet at that time, if you'd asked both of us, we would have said that was by far the most hysterical movie you'd ever seen. Well, I saw it relatively recently, probably, last year maybe? And I didn't find it that funny. And maybe it's because I was expecting a lot of the jokes. A lot of the jokes that were coming out. Like when he rides up and he's got his speech rolled up in his pants, and he goes, "Let me whip this out," and the old lady faints. But I already knew these jokes were coming,
right? So
because I might have seen it once or twice now over the years. So yeah, that one didn't hold up, and a lot of it is very dated comedy. The references were to things
that time period,
right?
Yeah.
So, and Mel Brooks. I don't know if Mel Brooks's humor has aged well either. I'm biased, so I just realized as I'm watching, I just watched an Albert Brooks movie, right?
Yeah.
Albert Brooks wrote it and directed it. And you take Albert Brooks, Woody Allen, Mel Brooks, it's all this like New York Jewish humor.
Yeah.
And I come from New York, so that was all like funny, like I get that stuff, but I thought to myself, how would that go over in like Nebraska? Like these people would have no reference point for stuff like that.
Right.
So they wouldn't think that stuff is funny. So anyway, so that's my movie, and I watched it, and I didn't think it held up well.
What did we say? It got 7.8?
I think so, yeah.
IMDb.
Yeah, people really liked it. It's rated very high.
It's a very popular movie. I didn't like it. I only saw it once, and I just, like I said, I don't know if I was just too young, or I just didn't like it, but I did not like it. I didn't laugh. I don't remember having any of the characters being all that much likable.
And it's a little silly. I mean, it's also a very silly movie.
It's very silly.
I don't know. So that's kind of mine. That I upon watching, I didn't like it as much now as I did back then. But you can understand why.
Right. Well, mine that I liked a lot better when I was a child. I haven't seen this movie since 2004, but I couldn't even get through it. Was Solar Babies.
Oh my God, you didn't like Solar Babies?
I looked it up recently, and it got a 4.8.
Oh,
So, I mean, I still say 4.8 is probably a little high.
which on IMDb is basically dreadful. Joey and I have determined that
Anything under 6.
Under 6 is not watchable, but anything over 6 is watchable.
So-
May not be the greatest movie in the world, but it's definitely interesting and worth watching.
I'm going to give you a quick rundown. I'm going to read the description of what they have.
Well, who was in it? Any big stars?
Jamie Gertz, Jason Patrick.
I love Jamie Gertz and
Oh,
Jason
yeah,
Patrick.
She's good. Lucas Haas, James LaGrosse.
Good cast.
Yeah. This is what it says. In a post-apocalyptic future ruled by the military, a group of renegade teenage orphans find a legendary orb, Bodhi. I forgot about Bodhi. Bodhi that can supposedly bring the rain back to dried up Earth.
Now, what was wrong with the movie?
It's terrible.
But you liked it when you first saw it.
I was like 6. It came out in 1986. Yeah.
Did you see it at the movies or you saw it on video?
No, I saw it at home. And yeah, 4.8 is pretty rough, but I still think that's a little high. Yeah, so it was a movie my dad was a huge movie person too. So, you know, he would pretty much make illegal copies of movies. And that was one he had, and we watched it a lot. And, you know, once everything converted over from VHS to CD, obviously, or DVD, he didn't have it anymore. So we rented it one time. I think like 30 minutes into it, I was like, I'm going outside. I was like, I just can't. It's just not watchable. It's so bad. The acting's terrible. The whole idea is just stupid. You know, I mean, they're pretty much just on like roller skates. They're pretty much like hockey players without helmets. Just playing with this stupid Bodhi thing. I don't know. I liked it. I think a lot of it was I had a crush on Jamie Gertz too.
Yeah, I can see that.
She was. I mean, she even now is still good looking, but she was really good looking back then.
This is an 80s movie.
86, yeah.
1986, yeah, Jamie Gertz. Yeah, I could see that. I had a
Yeah.
crush on Jamie Gertz.
Oh yeah.
Wasn't she on television? She played...
Yeah. What's the name of that show?
He was kind of a
hefty guy,
a
yeah.
hefty guy, and she was married to the hefty guy.
Yeah. You know, now I'm looking it up. I don't care because it's gonna drive me nuts. There was actually I saw it a few times. It wasn't a great show, but it was.
It was on CBS, and it was right around the time of like King of Queens, right? So it
Yes.
was like it matched.
Still standing.
Still standing.
Yes. It was on from 2002 to 2006.
Wow, so I made it 4
Had a
years.
pretty good run. But yeah, I think that's the main reason why I liked the movies because she was very easy on the eyes.
Yeah.
Because she's not a great actress. I mean, she's not bad. But the year after this, she actually did Less Than Zero.
Oh,
Which
I still haven't seen that.
That's a really I gotta write this stuff down. I'll bring that in for you next week. Do you get an extra piece of paper somewhere?
Yeah.
That's a really good. That's her, Robert Downey Jr., and Andrew McCarthy.
Look at me, I'm like Mr. Paper over
It
here.
was like I want to say it was 19. I bet that got a pretty high rating. Oh, and who's the bad guy? I think Eric Stoltz is actually the bad guy.
Eric Stoltz is the bad guy in the Less Than Zero?
Yeah.
Oh, I like Eric
It's either
Stoltz.
Eric Stoltz or James Spader.
Well, I can see James Spader being the bad
It
guy.
actually only got a 6.4. Kind of surprised. I thought it would have gotten higher than that.
That's pretty good.
Oh, it is James Spader.
Yeah,
Okay, I guess Eric.
he would make a good bad guy.
Yep. Oh, he is good in it.
I was jealous of him for so long. I thought, why the heck did he make it and I didn't? And then it comes to, because I didn't think he was that talented for the longest time. And then he got on that show with, I'm forgetting his name, Captain Kirk.
Oh, Boston Legal.
Yeah, Boston Legal.
Yep.
And he was great. And then I realized, well, this guy really did have something.
I know we're not talking about, or we're not supposed to be talking about James Spader, but did you ever see True Colors?
I'm sure I must
Him and
have.
John Cusack. They're in law school together. They're roommates.
Uh-huh.
Does that sound
I
familiar?
think I did, yeah.
I'm gonna bring it in anyway.
I don't know. I don't remember what I saw with him now. Now I got to remember why I didn't like him. But I saw him in a bunch of movies. He was pretty popular in the 80s.
What about 2
kinda
Days in
coming
the
up.
Valley?
No, I definitely didn't see that.
That's got an. I'll write that one down too. That's got a really good cast. It's almost like a borderline ripoff of Pulp Fiction. You know, you got all these characters that are in L.A. over a span of 2 days. Their worlds all collide. I mean, it's got a good cast. So it's really what made Charlize Theron kind of famous. Charlize Theron's in it, Terry Hatcher's in it, James Spader, Danny Aiello. It's a good cast.
Yeah. It's on my list somewhere. My giant list of all the movies I still need to see.
Well, now it's on my list to bring in for you. All right, now I'll go next for the opposite spectrum. I saw this movie very young. It's an R-rated movie.
And he saw it young.
And
It was not meant for you.
no, this is another one of my dad's movies that he really liked. And I watched it this weekend. And it's a really, really good movie. And I looked it up on IMDb, and it got a 7.7. And I never thought it would have been that high. The Warriors.
The Warriors.
Have you seen The Warriors?
Yeah, probably this past year.
Really?
Somebody lent it to me, and I watched it again.
What did you think?
I think it held up. I think it was as good as it was when I saw it.
I was really young when I saw it, and I just don't think I understood it. Because I was, I don't know, probably 5 or 6. And it's an adult movie. It's for grown-ups, And I watched it this weekend, and I was like, this really is a good movie. Because I was trying to come up with one that I didn't like, and then watch it again, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to get The Warriors and see. Because I couldn't really remember.
It was a well-done movie.
It was.
It moved along. I mean, it moved along at a nice pace and everything, and it was a little, I don't know.
None of the main characters ever panned out to be anybody.
Not to be huge.
No. I mean, the guy who plays Ajax was in a bunch of stuff, but he's not really the star of anything. I forget what his name was, but
Oh, man.
I thought Michael Biehn was the leader. It was Michael Beck. So I already had that way off because everybody knows who Michael Biehn is. He's
From Terminator.
yeah, and like Red Dawn. I think he's in. He plays Johnny Ringo in Tombstone.
All right.
So I mean, he's got a pretty famous, but
James Remar. He played.
is that Ajax?
I can't remember what his name was. He was the guy who got arrested in the park.
Yeah, that's Ajax. He's in like Too Fast, Too Furious, and he's like the bad guy, the bad cop in something else, something pretty big.
You're right. He's not a lead guy, but he's
No.
he's still. You see his face even now. You'll see him. He's in movies and things.
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
I think there's over 200 things on IMDb that he's been in as an actor.
Yeah, I think he played bad guys in a couple things. If you look him up, he probably was the heavy in a couple of movies.
I mean, he's technically really a bad guy in The Warriors. I mean, he's he's cool and badass, but at the same time, it's like you don't really respect the guy. It's.
Wasn't there somebody else too? I thought there were two people that had kind of like. Well, I don't know what to say. Had him, James Remar, and then somebody else. Maybe it was Michael Beck. Had been like relatively successful. They had.
I didn't look at
some
Michael Beck,
parts.
to be honest with you. But yeah, I think 7.7 sounds about right.
There's a video. If you look it up, probably on YouTube. There's a video where they got the guys together.
Yeah, and they redid the scene. I've seen that. I saw that. I think it was
That's
a couple of
pretty
years
cool.
ago. It is, and they're all still alive.
And that's one that did hold up. That movie aged. And that could have been a ridiculous movie, but it really isn't if you kind of buy into the whole time period and everything.
Yeah, Michael Beck is 70 now.
Wow.
That's obviously an old picture, but he's now see he's only got 42 acting credits, and the last one was the Last Subway Ride Home, the remake in 2015. So I don't know, but
I think you have to stretch your what is it? I can't think what the term is when you stretch like the believability about stuff. What's the name? What's that expression?
I can't.
Anyway, some of the gangs wear costumes and stuff. Like there's a whole gang that's dressed as baseball players. They carry around baseball bats.
Yep.
And, I mean, in a way, it's kind of like, all right, that's a little ridiculous because the
Yeah.
Warriors are running around in like leather vests and they kind of look like a gang. They
Right.
don't look that ridiculous. But
Right.
some of these other, gangs are all like they're wearing makeup and it looks a little silly. But it's, in the movie, for the purpose of the movie, it's still pretty cool.
Yeah. The bad guy, the lead bad guy. His voice is so annoying.
He made a few movies.
Did he?
Oh yeah. He played a bad guy in a couple of different movies. Oh, I used to remember his name.
I'm gonna look it up right now.
I can picture his face. I know exactly. Hey, Warriors!
Yes. Talk about an iconic scene with the beer bottles.
Yeah.
You know?
Come out and play.
Yep. No, it was great. I mean, absolutely. I mean, that really is an iconic scene when you think about it. You know, I mean.
You know, I'd be surprised. Almost everybody at the time, it was a pretty popular movie, and it was not a real big budget movie. Like we say, it didn't have big stars in it or anything.
Right.
I don't think it. Whoever the director was, I think it was just kind of like
Walter Hill.
Walter Hill.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess it is kind of a big director.
Yeah, that's why when I saw it, I was like, he sounds really familiar. What did he direct? Do you remember?
Didn't he do like 48 Hours?
Oh, did he? He might have. Oh, he's in that. He's a bad guy in that. Ajax.
Oh,
He's a bad guy, I think, in 48 Hours, that first one.
there you go. So maybe he gets along with Walter Hill. So we made that connection.
All right, I'm just going to check.
All right, so I'll tell you about mine.
Yep.
Right? 1978, the movie came out. I went to the movies, and I think I wasn't the only one. It was a really anticipated movie, Apocalypse Now.
Okay.
Following on the heels of the two Godfather movies. Francis Ford Coppola had this vision. He went out to the Philippines. It cost tons and tons of money. I think it broke the studio at the time.
Wow.
It was so much money, and they had to get rid of. Remember, they got rid of their lead actor. It was supposed to be Harvey Keitel, and then they replaced him with
Martin Sheen.
Martin Sheen, and Martin Sheen had a heart attack. I mean, there was all kinds of disasters, all kinds of like crap around this movie. And then when it came out, I anticipated it so much. I read the book that they had based it on, which had nothing to do with Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to see it. It was really anticipated. I think a lot of people, even the critics, if I remember right, Roger Ebert, who really didn't think that much of it, but then in retrospect, he changed his mind. So I saw it this past year. You lent it to me. I went and I watched it again, and I looked at it, and it's much better than I had remembered it.
Yeah.
And it got a reputation because if you looked it up on IMDb, I bet it's it's probably in the 8s. That people liked it so much that it probably rates as 8 point something. And I really I don't know, like I guess I didn't understand it because I probably was about 15, 16 years old when it came out. Heavy duty thing, heavy duty movie subject.
Oh, big time. 8.5.
But I watch it now.
That's pretty high.
And it just has incredible acting in it. It has some just really iconic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Robert Duvall.
Robert Duvall, yeah. I mean, they're all good though. I mean, Brando, Dennis Hopper. That movie's actually the reason I put Dennis Hopper in the hat last week.
Yeah.
That and Hoosiers.
I think that kind of resurrected his career because we hadn't seen him for a few years. He kind of died out, and all of a sudden somebody dug him up and put him in that part, and he was great.
He nailed it. Yeah, absolutely.
He nailed it exactly.
Yeah.
And the cinematography of this movie, I mean, it just was a beautiful film to watch, and I forget who was talking about it. The opening scene that has the doors, and they're kind of blowing up. They're using the, is it Agent Orange or napalm? They're using the napalm.
Yep.
Blowing up the forest to the Doors song. It really is a pretty spectacular movie. I mean, it really, and I didn't appreciate it when it came out in 1978.
You make me want to watch it again now. I haven't
You
seen
got it. I returned it to you.
I haven't seen it in a while.
I tried to watch, because the set that you have, it has the original movie that was released, and then it has Redux,
Right.
which was a re-release in the movie theater. I guess that was recut by Francis Ford Coppola, and I tried to watch that because there are a couple of extra scenes that were cut out. Something to do with a plantation owner. Does this ring a bell?
No.
And I didn't get to see it. I didn't get up to that point to re-see that piece of it, but I was kind of interested.
I'm not sure I've seen Redux, to be honest with you. I think I might have. Cause I don't even think I've actually watched that DVD. because I watched it my senior year of high school. Because Dennis Leary was talking about it on one of his stand-ups, and I was like, I've got it, because he was making a joke about Dennis Hopper's character, and I was like, all right, I gotta see this. I gotta see this movie because, it just, I don't know. I was a Dennis Hopper fan anyway.
He was great.
'Cause, I loved Hoosiers. I thought he was really good in Speed.
And that movie has a lot of like people in small parts, like Harrison Ford.
Lawrence Fishburne.
I think Arlie Ermy is in it. He's a helicopter pilot. Oh man, I'm wearing you out on this show.
I know, I'm tired right now for some reason.
25 minutes is, I had to drink coffee today. Otherwise, I'd have been doing the same thing right now. I'm trying to think of some of the other people that were in small parts. Of course, it was Marlon Brando and Dennis Hopper, Martin Sheen, Robert Duvall, one of the best Robert Duvall characters
Oh yeah.
ever.
It's number 50 on IMDb. Well, let's see.
Kind of got to show Robert Duvall's range, which I thought was kind of neat. I mean, if you think about it in an iconic way, we were used to him in The Godfather, playing Tom.
Yeah, Tom Hagen.
Tom Hagen, yeah. And he was very low key,
Yeah.
very effective and low key.
Right.
And then here he is, kind of flipped on the edge, and
Yeah.
he's gets to be a big, bold character, which he did a great job with.
You know who I
I
didn't
love
know?
Robert Duvall.
You know who I didn't know was in that is Scott Glenn. Did you know he was in that?
I gotta picture where he was in that movie. So Scott Glenn was in the movie. I can't picture it, to tell you the truth. And I like Scott Glenn.
I do too.
So that's another one. I don't know. You people can write in, go on Facebook, and tell us about movies that you appreciated more the second time around, or decided were not as good as you remembered them being. And I think you'll find that with a lot of comedies. If you watch a lot of your classic comedy movies over again, another one is Airplane. I watched Airplane over again.
I don't even think I watched Airplane once.
And I thought it was hysterical. I'll have to bring that one up. That's one I got to write down for you. I thought it was hysterical the first time around. And then I watched it again, and I've probably seen little bits and pieces of that thing many times over the
That's
years.
Leslie Nielsen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now it's not. It just didn't do it. It didn't do it like it did the first time.
I'm not a big Leslie Nielsen fan.
No.
I saw, did you ever see Dracula Dead and Loving It?
No, not that one.
It's terrible.
I saw some of the other, The Naked Gun,
I saw one of those, and I didn't care for that
Frank
either.
Drebin's.
He's not in the Loaded Weapon series, is he?
No, I don't think so.
That's Richard Dreyfuss? Emilio Estevez, maybe?
That might be who it is.
I think so. But I talked to a couple coworkers and asked their opinions. One of them really surprised me. He said The Breakfast Club. She liked it a lot more when she was younger, and now she says it's just kind of like blah.
Yeah?
Like it's.
I'm going to have to watch that. I would have to watch it again. I kind of get the feeling that one will hold up
I do too.
for teenagers. But then again, maybe it appealed to us as teenagers.
But then
Here's a movie I know you liked, and I bet we both haven't seen it in a while, is Say Anything.
Yep. Oh,
Right?
I haven't seen that in a long time.
I loved that movie when
Yep.
it came out. But if I watched it now, it may not be as good as it. I
Breakfast
remember.
Club gets 7.9 here.
Yeah.
I wonder what's the.
I think it's the best of those Brat Pack movies. I think it's better than St. Elmo's Fire.
I'm pretty big on St. Elmo's Fire, so
Are
I'm not
you?
sure. I am. I never really seen it.
Ah.
And my boss mentioned it to me at my previous job, and I watched it and I really, really liked it. Say Anything gets a 7.4.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did. I like St. Elmo's Fire a lot. I think IMDb has Breakfast Club rated a lot higher. I think St. Elmo's Fire is like 7.3 or something like that. And Breakfast Club is, like I said, 7.9. But we're just about out. You got any idea what you might want to talk about next week?
Next week, I think we were going to do our comparison. We were talking.
Oh, right.
Talking about Forrest Gump
Versus
Pulp Fiction.
Yep.
And I just watched Pulp Fiction over the weekend, and we've been taking a survey, which I really got to take Alex's suggestion and post it to Facebook.
Yeah.
And see
I
what
agree.
other people think about it. But we've been kind of taking an informal survey to see which movie people liked better.
We will
Forrest
have-
Gump won more awards.
We will have numbers for you next week. So, all right. This has been our newest edition of the Best Pictures. I'm one of your hosts, Joey Powers.
I'm Don Tretler, and these are the ones you don't want to miss.
Gentlemen, you can't fight in here. This is the war room.
Here's Johnny. Go ahead. Make my day.
Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.